Hi all, welcome to the benchmarking of this ultra low cost esports gaming system. So straight into it, I've set the lowest quality settings on the benchmarking tools Valley in Heaven and switched off any effects like tessellation, but kept the resolution at the maximum of 1920 by 1080. So Valley score of 2825 and for Heaven's score of 2368. What is concerning is there's quite a big gap between minimum and maximum. So just something to bear in mind, that when playing the games you may get stuttering depending on the settings you've set or how long you've been playing the game, because some games load in textures, for example, or run a few background tasks initially. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. So I'm doing this initial part using Bandicam, but I'm going to be recording the games on external camera just to give this system every chance. And what I suggest you do is cap the frame rate at 30 where possible and set all the quality settings in the game menus to the lowest possible values and work your way up. And take it from there. Right, so let's load up a few games and just see what this system can do. Doom Eternal. Now, as with all these games, set the graphical quality settings to minimal, work your way up. If you think there's a bit of leeway to get more frame rates without compromising performance. So on this opening level, it's indoors, so it's not going to be too taxing, and we get in, I'd say, 50 and above, which is pretty good. But as I said, this area is not going to tax the system too much. But sometimes when there's a lot of action, it's early 40s. But feel free to try Doom Eternal if you have this sort of setup. Racing game now, Forza Horizon 4. Now there's no way this system will play Forza Horizon 5, but with the medium preset and a frame rate cap of 60, which you wouldn't be able to see more than that on this monitor anyway, I'm running the in-game benchmark, so what I'll do is I'll let that finish and then report back with the results. Right, so the in-game benchmark on Forza 4 is finished. We aimed for 60 frames per second, but achieved an average of 39. So what I'd do is, to stop any stuttering, is cap that at 30 or get some of those quality settings set to the lowest. Mirror quality, for example, is on high. I'm not sure if setting that to low would make much difference. Okay, so that's Forza Horizon 4. On to Shadow of the Tomb Raider now. So I've selected the low preset on graphical quality, and I've switched a lot of the flags off that relates to graphics, and the display I've just kept the resolution at 1920 by 1080. So what we'll do now is run the in-game benchmark and then report back with the findings. So the in-game benchmark is finished on Shadow of the Tomb Raider. We get an average of 36 frames per second, which is not too bad in an exploration game. But I did notice some texture issues as they popped in quotes. So I think getting that resolution down might be a good option to get those frame rates up. And also for better stability. Right, so that's Shadow of the Tomb Raider. FIFA 18. So I've got it on the maximum resolution, but things like anti-aliasing I've switched off. And using Bandicam's frame rate counter, it's bang on 30 frames per second, which looks alright to me in a football game. So what I do is cap that frame rate at 30 and use these settings. It's also on the low graphical preset, which on a monitor like this is just fine looks fine by me. So maybe you can up the quality, get that frame rate up on games prior to this. So the choice is yours, but FIFA 2018 is a pass. You see what I did there. Up next we have Fortnite. Now I've capped this frame rate at 30, highest resolution, and a lot of the quality settings set to the minimal. It's an open area, there's not no other characters as far as I can see, so it's rock solid 30. I did notice the frame rate dipped on the way down in the bus, which I think is a norm in a lot of games like PUBG. Initially starting seems to be the problem area. Maybe it's loading in some background tasks, difficult to say really. I'm no expert unless you can shed some light on it. I'm sure that rate may go down once there's a firefight going on, but at the moment it was a good decision to cap that rate at 30, but feel free to experiment. Okay, so that's Fortnite. Counter-Strike 2 next. Now, looking at the minimal specs, this machine doesn't really get that, reach that. But at the moment, on all the settings set to low, it's mid to high 50s frames per second. There's a bit of screen tearing there, so maybe I need to switch VSync on. But as it stands, once you've played a couple of games, maybe the system has to do a few background tasks first, then because it was the frame rate was definitely lower when I first started playing it, which I'm not very good at. But I'd say at the moment Counter-Strike 2 on this system is quite playable as it stands. So, just to sum up, I paired a second generation Intel i3-2100 with a GTX 750 Ti and 8GB of RAM. Now that system will only take 1333 megahertz speed RAM, and I ran a few games and the two graphical benchmark tools, Heaven and Valley. And I think the performance may surprise you, but as I said in the videos, start with the lowest settings you can and work your way up. And I paired it with a CS106 AeroCool case, and that's the graphics card. It's single fan, works well. So if you've got any queries on the system, just drop me a comment, and thanks for watching.